Hi, welcome to the Revelation, our ongoing series where we are looking at that last book of the Bible, and in that book making some discoveries about who we are and who God has called us to be and how our lives can be different with the security of knowing that God is faithful and God is going to balance the book. Revelation also promises us a blessing if we read the book, and so let me read to you two verses in Revelation 7, verses 13 and 14, where it says this: "Then one of the elders asked me, 'These in the white robes, who are they, and where did they come from?'" Now, if you're thinking, well, wait a minute, white robes, where did that come from? Well, go back and listen to the last episode because I read that passage then. But the passage goes on. "I answered, 'Sir, you know.' And he said, 'Those are the ones who have come out of the great tribulation. They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.'" In other words, this is one of those moments in Revelation where there is a lull in some of the action that's taking place, at least that is described to us on planet Earth. And we're kind of given a glimpse into what's going on in the heavenly places and in the heavenlies at this moment. And there's great rejoicing in heaven because John sees a multitude standing before the throne of God. And these are the people who have come to Christ through faith during the tribulation. They're carrying palm branches and they're wearing robes. They're now white because they've been cleansed and made pure by the blood of the Lamb. The trials and troubles are over, and the celebration is taking place because they are home at last. A couple of things about that. There are two references in this passage that emphasize that these new believers are safe and secure: the palm branches and the promise of God's presence. The palm branches appear in Scripture, throughout Scripture, as symbols of victory and triumph. And so as John uses that here, I'm convinced that that's what that means. These tribulation saints will have made it through somehow the tribulation. They will have gotten to the point where they just could not reject God. They would not reject God, but they also would not accept the evil reality of the Antichrist and of Satan and his plan. And so they have made it. But then in verse 15 it says this: "He who sits on the throne will shelter them with his presence." Interesting verse, because it could also be translated this way: "He who sits on the throne shall spread his tent over them." The word that John uses for tent in Revelation is a word that is powerful, that basically means that God gives a cover then to all of these folks, and we get to live our eternal existence under the cover of his tent, protected by him, a part of his family, in those safe confines that only he can offer. And so this is one of those moments where Jesus has stepped up and again has come through just like he said he would. And these are the folks who have been faithful, who have turned to him and realized that there is only one answer to the problems, the situations, and the hope that they need, and that is in Jesus. And so now we see them standing before the throne, and John gets a snapshot of that. And so if you go back and you read those verses again, recognize that this again is John describing for us something that goes beyond anything that anyone has ever seen before, beyond his imagination really to comprehend it. And so those words that are coming out of him, inspired by God, descriptive words where he is trying to put into words that people will be able to understand this amazing thing that he's seeing. Can we catch the full scope and the glory and the majesty of the moment? No. But even as John describes it, we begin to get a sense of this is so much bigger than anything we can imagine. This is so much better than anything we can ever imagine. This is so much more amazing than anything we could ever imagine. And as always, there's a choice. And the choice that we have to make is, will we be the people who God has created us to be so we don't miss these moments, or will we push him aside and move and run that risk that so many people do, that we just don't have any time for God until we run out of time for God. And then it's too late. And so make sure that as you read, you're faithful to share and be that evangelist in the lives of those that need to catch a glimpse of Christ. And also take the hope in the fact that God is going to do what he said he would do, and you're going to get to where you need to be right on time. He's never late. And that's an important thing to remember as you move through Revelation chapter 7. I look forward to joining you next time as our series continues. Keep reading the book of Revelation and find the blessing that is there.